There's that triple growl.
I wouldn't want to be a motorcycle journalist. As glamorous as it is to be flown all over the world for motorcycle launches to review the latest and greatest bikes, I wouldn't want to have my journalistic integrity questioned. Motorcycle magazines make money in two ways. One is people paying for them, either by subscribing or picking them up off the store shelf. The other is from the advertising space that they sell. Either way, they rely on motorcycle manufacturers. The manufacturers have to provide them with the bikes to test in order to attract readers, and they have to advertise in the magazine. Now, I don't mean to cast shade on moto journalists. There are definitely some who take their job seriously and can be pretty critical of substandard products, but it has also been the case that these honest reviewers may find it increasingly difficult to procure test bikes or sell ad space in their magazines. So this is why we see an epidemic of motorcycle comparison tests where everyone wins, and launch events that look less like journalism and more like you get the picture. With that in mind, it's important to remember that many motorcycle magazines' job is not just reviewing motorcycles, but selling them. And one of the times where that becomes most evident is when a new model comes out. Suddenly, the hype machine kicks into high gear and assures you that the new model is superior in every way to the previous one and that you just have to have it. It's got 2 more horsepower, it's 5 pounds lighter, the torque peak arrives a couple of hundred RPM earlier, the TFT dash is an inch bigger, there's a new rider mode that you can't live without, and new graphics and redesigned headlights so that everyone knows that you are sitting astride the latest and the greatest, not the outdated, outgoing model. But we are free-thinking human beings and we are allowed to question this type of logic. Late last year, I reported on the launch of the new Africa Twin 1100. As part of my research, I went on a local dealer's website and noticed that last year's leftover models, the 1000s, were heavily discounted. In fact, the 2019 Africa Twin Adventure Sports was actually $3,500 less than the 2020 model. And so this begs the question, how much better is the new model than the outgoing one, and will the average rider notice the difference in performance or just in the weight of their wallet? So to get to the point, my friend Jamie has been in the market for a new motorcycle and has had his eye on a Triumph Tiger 800. This year the new 900 came out, but a Triumph dealer had a loaded, top-of-the-line 800 XCA model waiting for a new home. Jamie went in there and offered to take it off their hands if they threw in some aluminum bags and a top box, a $3,500 value. The dealer said yes. Jamie walked out with a great deal and is very happy with his new bike. So happy, in fact, that he offered to let me ride it for my channel and organized a lovely route. So Brooke and I rode out, we met up with Jamie and his wife Cheryl, swapped bikes, and headed out. Now, full disclosure, I haven't yet had a chance to ride the new Tiger 900. In fact, the last time I rode a triple-cylinder bike was around the year 2000, and that was the Speed Triple, and it was like riding the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes. I did my first stoppie on that bike, unintentionally, and needed a chiropractor after a brief stint on the highway. Nothing makes you aware of expansion joints like a 2000-era naked bike with a suspension dialed up to 11. But the Tiger 800 was a whole different animal, and let me tell you, if you enjoy sporty riding and find one of these discounted in a dealership, I'd give it some serious thought. I'm not going to bore you with every detail of the specs, you can Google those easily enough. Some highlights though. The engine pumps out 95 horse and 58 pound-feet, and because it's a triple you can rev the piss out of it.
Oh yeah, here we are in second gear. It feels like a sport bike. Holy cow.
What's impressive is the standard equipment that comes on this bike. Here's a list of things that come standard on the 2019 Triumph Tiger XCA. That's the more off-road, top-of-the-line version with a 21-inch front wheel. Fully adjustable WP suspension from KTM, 6 riding modes that are also customizable, traction control and ABS of course, TFT, heated grips, engine guards, bash plate, 5-way adjustable windshield, cruise control, fog lights, and heated seats, rider and passenger. So this bike comes with a lot of standard gear that you normally pay extra for. But what does it sound like, feel like, ride like?
Very smooth throttle. This is one of those bikes you can probably leave in any gear and just ride it. So much lighter than the Guzzi. And it's in sport mode right now, so plenty of go. So this thing, unlike mine, has a gear indicator. You can see on the big TFT dash there, the dash is very bright, very visible, very easy to see. Look at this. This is Lake Ontario here. We're out in the country, and man, what a beautiful ride this is. I'm loving this. Gorgeous place to ride, and this is something that I haven't said on YouTube yet, but we are planning on moving out here because I'm just sick of Toronto traffic. I'm sick of being cramped in a tiny little place in Toronto, and I'm really looking forward to coming out here a little bit east of Toronto and getting a house on the lake. Oh, here's a little rickety bridge. I hope Brooke's okay. She made it. Okay, so we're at 2,000 RPM. It pulls smoothly from 2,000 RPM, and the signal just turned itself off.
Now, every bike has its own character and a particular type of rider who enjoys it. This bike would be perfect for the sport bike or sport naked rider who wants to ride long distance and be more comfortable, carry a passenger, or ride rougher paved roads with the occasional off-road excursion. The seating position is very upright and natural. The seat is firm and roomy, passenger accommodations are good, and the KTM WP suspension soaks up bumps so well you barely notice them. I was choosing the roughest pavement on purpose and sailed over it like it was nothing. I didn't notice the bike squatting under acceleration or diving under braking. All of that plus $3,500 worth of accessories. If you were going to get the bags anyway, which Jamie was because he wanted to take trips 2 up with Cheryl, then effectively you can save a ton of money on this bike. Does the bike have any faults? Hard to spot unless you've lived with it for a while, but Jamie did point out that the catalytic converter which is located under the bike gives off a lot of heat. I thought this was hilarious since I ride an air-cooled Moto Guzzi. Near the end of the ride, when we were sitting in traffic, Jamie and Cheryl found out what real heat was. I felt a little heat coming up from the Tiger, but nothing like on my bike. The other criticism of the Tiger that I've heard about but did not experience because we didn't go off pavement has historically been the peaky power delivery of the engine on loose surfaces. Multi-cylinder motors have power that comes on quickly as the revs build, and can cause the rear wheel to break traction. Triumph has included off-road rider modes which tame the power a bit, but there's so much of it on tap that it can catch riders off guard if they're riding hard on loose surfaces. This is generally not a problem for the average rider who will be riding sub-Baja pace. Most people buy these bikes to explore, not to rip up the trail like you would on a dirt bike. On pavement, this is among the best bikes in the class, but if you're wanting an adventure bike for bombing single track, perhaps a KTM 790 Adventure R may be more to your liking. Now, the new Tiger 900 is probably slightly better than the 800, but the question is, does this matter to the average person buying the bike? Jamie and Cheryl are moving to Cape Breton soon, and they have built a beautiful house on the Cabot Trail, one of the most stunning roads in the world. If you've never heard of the Cabot Trail, it's well worth checking out. This road is world famous and is a motorcyclist's dream. It twists and turns around the coast and through the mountains of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, skirting the cliffs and visiting charming historic seaside towns, national and provincial parks, and beaches and numerous tourist attractions. It's a full day's ride, so if you go, plan on lots of stops because there's lots to see. Jamie needed a comfortable sporty bike that was capable of tearing up the twisties as well as exploring some dirt and gravel roads out where he will be living. He would have to ride the bike very hard indeed to get to a point where the Tiger 800 can't do something that the 900 can do. That sliver of extra performance is the purview of professional road and rally racers and an area that normal riders like us will never visit. One more thing, how did a middleweight bike compare to my heavyweight Stelvio? The difference in weight is most apparent during slow speed maneuvers like U-turns and parking lot navigation. However, the Tiger is much sportier than the Stelvio in all circumstances. The steering is ridiculously light and the handling crisp and predictable. The Tiger is not prone to falling into turns the way some other bikes with 21-inch front wheels tend to. You could totally do a track day on this thing and be comfortable while doing it. You might even pass some sport bikes. Riding the Tiger 800 has made me very much look forward to the arrival of my Tenere 700. A lighter motorcycle is very attractive when you've been wrestling around 600 pounds on dirt. Where the Stelvio is superior is in comfort and munching high-speed miles on the highway. It's also roomier for 2-up riding. So final verdict, I like the bike. It offers a lot of value for the money, especially if you get a leftover model that the dealer is trying to clear out. It's comfortable, capable, comes with every extra you could possibly want. I mean, what middleweight bike comes with a heated rider and passenger seat? Standard. And it looks good. This is definitely the sport bike among ADV bikes and offers the unique sound and feel of a 3-cylinder engine. Triumph has changed the firing order and timing on the new Tiger 900 by putting in a cross-plane crank and changing the character of the engine to make it behave and sound a bit more like a twin. So if you want that 3-cylinder howl on your adventure bike, the 2019 Tiger is your last chance. I'd like to thank Jamie and Cheryl for a great ride and for letting me try their bike. If you see a Tiger 800 on the Cabot Trail, it might be Jamie. And if you see an Intruder 800, it might be Cheryl because she rides too. Make sure you give them a big wave. So if you want the latest Triumph adventure bike, check out the Tiger 900. And if you want a great deal on a sport bike disguised as an adventure tourer, find a new old stock Tiger at a Triumph dealer and start negotiating. In fact, you can do this with any model bike that is being replaced or updated. Dealers want to get last year's models off the floor and they're motivated to sell. You'll never get any money off a new or updated model, but the model being replaced will, or at least should, be discounted. The shiny new thing is always exciting, but keeping thousands of dollars in your pocket is fairly exciting as well. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in any of the gear that Brooke and I wear or use, or the camera equipment we use to film this channel, the links are below. Everything listed there was bought with our own money and we are not sponsored by any company. However, the links below are affiliate links and the channel is paid a small amount for referring you to shop at no additional cost to you. We do not recommend any products that we are not satisfied with ourselves, but we do strongly urge you to do your research and select the correct size for items like helmets and clothing. As always, thanks for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And whatever you ride, enjoy it. Wave at other bikers no matter what they're riding, we're all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and may the spokes be with you.